There's a very specific kind of person out there. The kinder they are to everyone else, the more brutal they are to themselves. They're the one who picks up the phone at 11 at night, the one who stays late to bail out a coworker, the first to say, "Hey, honestly, it's fine," the second someone else drops the ball. But there's something nobody ever gets to see. When they're finally alone, everything shifts. That voice in their head stops being gentle. It goes cold. "You're useless. You always wreck everything. Nobody here actually needs you." And the scary part isn't that those thoughts show up. It's that they believe every single word, even though they'd never in a million years say that to another human being. Maybe you know someone like this. Or maybe that someone is you. This isn't about your personality. It's a psychological mechanism running quietly in the background of your mind. And today, Apex is going to take it apart, piece by piece. Let's start with one fact. You are not alone in this. Self-hatred isn't rare. One large survey found that 86% of young adults between 18 and 34 carry a deep dissatisfaction with their abilities, their looks, their achievements. That crushing sense of not being enough. And there's a reason for it. The human brain comes with a built-in flaw, a negativity bias. It's literally wired to grab the negative thoughts about you and blow them up far more powerfully than any compliment ever could. But is any of that actually true? No. Back in Hangin Kungtum Wiba, a study had people rate how pleasant a batch of audio recordings sounded. What they didn't know was that the researchers had secretly slipped in recordings of the participants' own voices. The result? Most people rated their own voice as more pleasant than the rest. A lot of the things you hate about yourself honestly aren't that bad. You only started hating them the moment you found out they were yours. So why does the brain work like this? Researchers once tracked 3 groups: people who'd won the lottery, people who'd been in serious accidents, and ordinary folks as a baseline. You'd think the winners stayed way happier. They didn't. After a while, their happiness sank right back to normal. It's called the hedonic treadmill. But the accident survivors? That gap was much harder to close. Pain sticks. It digs in deeper and lasts far longer than joy ever does. It goes all the way back to our roots. Picture a prehistoric human. There's a bush full of ripe berries in front of you. But then you hear something rustling in the trees. Miss the berries and you're hungry a few more hours. Ignore that rustling and you become somebody's dinner. So your brain hardwired a red alert response to any threat. And that alarm is still running today. What sticks with you longer? A compliment from your boss or one nasty comment somebody left online? For most of us, a single scratch of criticism drowns out a dozen bits of praise. This leads straight into one of the most primal human fears, rejection. Back then, getting cut off from the tribe was a death sentence. So the brain craves belonging, and it pushes you to constantly reshape yourself to match what everyone expects. Mix that with a brain already wired for the negative, and it's no wonder you become your own harshest critic. But biology is only half of it. In modern life, especially where achievement is everything, one belief gets installed early: that love and your own worth are things you have to earn. Psychologists call it conditional positive regard. A kid brings home a report card with an A. Instead of "great job," the first thing out of the adult's mouth is, "Why isn't this an A+? Where'd you slip up?" And here's the troubling part. The child turns that pain inward. They can't reason, "Mom and Dad are just stressed about money today." They land on the simplest conclusion: I'm treated this way because I'm not good enough. My worth depends on being perfect. And we drag that rule straight into adulthood. Over time, this splits your mind. You end up stuck between 3 versions of yourself. Your actual self, who you are right now, flaws and tired days and all. Your ideal self, the version you dream of becoming. And the real source of the pressure, your ought self, the version you believe you're required to be so the world won't reject you. Always cheerful, always perfect, always making everyone happy. Picture yourself at work, completely burned out. Your actual self just wants to rest, but your ought self forces you to smile and take on your coworkers' pile too. "Oh, don't even worry about it. I've got it." The pain isn't the flaws, it's being constantly stretched between these selves. Psychologists call it self-discrepancy theory. So why is it so easy to hand grace to other people? It comes down to an information gap. You forgive a coworker because you only see the surface. With yourself, you hold the complete file. Every mistake, every cringe-worthy moment. Knowing every last corner of your own story turns you into the most ruthless judge you'll ever face. Understanding the root is the first step, but it's not enough. Search online and the advice you'll hit most is just love yourself more. That's not wrong, but it's hollow, like telling someone who can't swim to feel confident and jump into the deep end. What you actually need are concrete actions. So, here are 3. Method 1. Change the pronoun in your thoughts. When you screw up, the self-criticism happens in the first person. "I'm so terrible. I ruined everything again." The word "I" fuses your entire worth with one mistake. So the second you catch that voice starting, pause for 3 seconds and switch to second or third person, like you're watching someone else. You're feeling insecure because of that mistake. That tiny shift creates distance. Then ask one question. If a close friend made the exact same mistake, what would I say to them? You'd never tell them, "You're useless." You'd say, "That was small. Everybody slips up. Just fix it and move on." Borrow the objectivity you already hand out to the whole world and point it back at yourself. Method 2. The 5-second silence when someone compliments you. People who lean towards self-hatred reject every piece of positive information. Someone says, "Your slides looked amazing today," and you instantly shrink it. "Oh, it was nothing, I just got lucky." That habit quietly reinforces the belief that you have nothing to offer. So next time, lock down the reflex to explain it away. Look them in the eye, smile, and say 2 words. "Thank you." Then sit still and stay with the discomfort for a full 5 seconds. You might feel like you don't deserve it. Let that be there. You're sending your nervous system a brand new signal that you're allowed to be recognized without being flawless first. Method 3. Reframe selfish as energy maintenance. The wall keeping you from treating yourself well is a fear that if you stop punishing yourself, you'll turn lazy and selfish. But your stamina, your patience, your emotional capacity are limited resources. Every single day, performing that ought self, always smiling, always helping, always absorbing the pressure, burns an enormous amount of energy. And if at night, instead of recharging, you spend the last drops tearing yourself apart, you drive yourself straight into burnout. You can't charge someone else's phone when yours is sitting at 1%. A car that never gets gas breaks down in the middle of the road, no matter how badly the driver wants to take everyone somewhere. So shutting down the negative self-talk isn't selfish. It's required maintenance to keep your whole system running. You are the first person responsible for keeping your own tank full. Letting go of self-hatred won't happen overnight. Your brain will always want to slide back to the old route because it feels safe. But here's the truth to walk away with. You don't need to fix your personality. You don't need to become some flawless version of yourself before you're allowed a little peace. You need one shift. End the double standard. Take the same respect, compassion, and understanding you give so freely to everyone else and turn it back toward yourself. Once the logic behind self-punishment falls apart, it starts to fade on its own, without you ever having to fight it. Have you ever caught yourself being way too hard on yourself? And what actual practical thing did you do to break out of that spiral? Share it in the comments. The specific thing you did might be exactly the answer someone out there is desperately searching for. Thank you for spending this time with Apex. Hit like and subscribe so we can keep exploring the fascinating ways the mind works. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you